Hey guys, good evening. It is time for our Power Hour. We are enjoying the March 8th Power Hour together. We are going to begin with a 10-minute figure drawing warm-up. So grab your pencils and let's go ahead and get sketching. I am going to use Senshi Stock as our wonderful reference, and I will pull that up for you guys on the screen. So I hope you guys have had a wonderful week this week. What is the best thing that has happened to you since we last saw each other? Hey Lindsay, hey Catherine, good evening. Hey Angela, hey Terry, how are you this evening? Hey Catherine. Would bringing it in closer help? Can't hear the music. I am playing music. I don't know why you can't hear it. Is anybody else having difficulty hearing the music? Should I turn it up a little bit? This week was my last class for making comics spring semester. I'd added 2 classes onto it to give the people in my class a little bit of extra time to finish working on their projects. And next Friday we have our zine exchange, which I'm really excited about. So I'm going to do my stream on Thursday night, and I have something kind of cool and fun planned for that. So I hope you guys can make it. I am sketching with a Prismacolor Premier color pencil, so it's terracotta, and a Blick Studio sketchbook, so fairly inexpensive. And I like sketching with color pencils because it kind of discourages me from erasing, so I kind of have to just accept whatever marks I've made on the paper, which I think is better for me when I'm doing studies. Keeps me from getting too precious about things. Hey, Angela. Are you doing anything fun to celebrate? My favorite type of markers. Do you mean between like water-based, watercolor, or alcohol markers, or like my favorite brand? Hey, Tara. So I like all different kinds of markers, but I like them for different reasons. So like Posca markers, which are kind of like paint markers, I like those because you can draw on wood and you can draw on plastic, and you can blend them out with water while they're still wet, but once they dry out, they become permanent. I like alcohol markers because you get these really vibrant colors. You can get some fluorescence, you can get really intense red, violets, and purples, and that's not always possible with watercolor stuff. And I also like how blendable alcohol markers are. And you can also, if you want to, use them on plastic and like a variety of paper surfaces. They're not overly picky. And I like watercolor and water-based markers because they're non-toxic, and if you practice with them, you can get a lot of the same kind of blending techniques that you could almost get with alcohol markers. So it really kind of depends on what project I'm working on, but if I am doing a marker project, I'm probably going to reach for alcohol markers first. And my favorite are the Blick Studio the Blick Studio brush markers, because they're a lot like Copic sketch markers. So this is the Blick Studio sketch marker. This is the Copic sketch marker. My favorite used to be Copic sketch, but they're expensive, and then Copic is going through shortages right now, so they're even harder to get a hold of over here, so they're getting more expensive. But the Blick Studio brush markers are really, really similar. They're sold through Dick Blick, which is an art supply store who has like a pretty good store brand. So you can you can refill the ink in these the same way you would refill the ink in these. I don't know if they have replaceable brushes yet, but that seems like it's probably coming in the near future. And they have like 90 something colors, so it's not a bad color range, and they're about half the price of Copic sketch markers. So Blick Studio brush markers are definitely my favorite right now, and that's what I recommend. Hey, Lab Accident, good evening. That's what I recommend to people who are interested in getting in alcohol markers. You made it early this evening. How much are the Blick markers? Off the top of my head, I would say they are under $3 each open stock, but they're much cheaper in sets. Joseph, could you drop a link to the Blick Studio brush markers from Dick Blick? Hey, Hunter. Almost. It's coming up soon. I'm excited for it. Speaking of, Joseph is going to do some of the drawing for me during my birthday stream in a couple of weeks. And I have a poll up on the community tab. So if you guys are interested, you can vote for what kind of thing he's going to draw. You got almost 2 weeks. No, I did not, Janine. That is awesome news. So now the Blick Studio brush markers are pretty dang comparable with the sketch markers. See, Blick's an art supply company that knows how to listen to its customer base. I wonder, because I think personally, I think the Copic replaceable nibs are kind of overpriced for how many you get. I wonder if they can be used in the, hey Zora, if they can be used in the words. Yes, thank you, in the Copic sketch markers. Yep. I have not heard of Roblox. Have you heard of Roblox? Tell us about Roblox, Angela. All right, that is our 10-minute warm-up sketch. Is anybody still sketching, or should I switch out the screen? Ooh, I see what you mean. I've adjusted the exposure on my camera because I thought it would pick up colors better, but it blew out that sketch really badly. All right, that is our figure drawing warm-up complete. So, for those of you who do not know me, for those of you who are new here, hi, welcome. I'm Becca Hilburn. I am a comic artist and illustrator, and I share my tutorials online here on YouTube and over at nattosoup.blogspot.com. So if you're looking for lots of great free art education, you are in the right place. I'm kind of quickly scrolling through my Patreon right now just to show you some of the goodies that my wonderful art nerds get. And if you guys are not subscribed yet, I highly recommend you subscribe and click that bell notification so that you never miss one of my streams and you never have to miss an update. I am also the creator of a beautiful webcomic, 7-Inch Kara. You can read it for free at 7inchkara.tumblr.com. And it is about a tiny girl named Kara. She's only 7 inches tall, who makes friends with a human teenager named Naomi, who's about to start at a brand new school in a brand new town, and Naomi's brand new pet kitten Pancake. And it is a really sweet, cute story. So if you're looking for something that's kind of uplifting or a palate cleanse after a bad day, 7-Inch Kara is a great pick for you. And I would also like to welcome 2 new art nerds to the art nerd community. Welcome Brianna and welcome Ashley. Patreon has recently changed where all of the information is located, so I'm still kind of figuring it out. So my regular artist spotlights will resume next week. So before we get into sketch requests, I have a wonderful package from my friend Heidi. Heidi, are you in the chat, or are you still driving home from work? Wait, she's not signed in if she's in the chat? They're not signed in if they're in the chat? Okay. I guess I will wait a little while and I'll start the sketch requests and unbox a package from Heidi later on when Heidi is in here. So if you guys are not familiar with sketch requests, I have a wonderful submission form here, and you basically just submit some very basic information. You share your email address with me. This helps me keep track of who is requesting what. You link me to the reference. That is the material I'm going to be using when I'm drawing your character, your pet, your portrait, whatever you want me to draw. And if necessary, a short description of your character, just a little bit more information so I can understand them better. And then let me know if you are one of my art nerds, because my art nerds get priorities during the stream. All right, have a nice weekend, Hunter. I'm glad you're able to swing by. I bet it is an excellent night for swatching. Just like chill out, zone out, start swatching. Had a headache all day today, so I already feel like I'm a little bit off kilter. Let's see. Let's start with Iktrahan number 1, a cute, smug cat girl. Sorry. Oh, cute. Let me switch over to desk and monitor so you guys can see the character. I want churros. Churros sound great. Are they the Taco Bell churros, or are they like churros? Hey, can you come over here and help me adjust the exposure, please? I should not. I messed with it with the Logitech settings. I shouldn't have done that.
Do you actually mean the exposure?
Like, you can't see anything I'm drawing because it's all blown out.
Set to what it's supposed to be. So you're saying you adjusted something in
the Logitech settings, yeah. I think it was color intensity. I bumped it up a whole bunch.
Yeah. Just leave it at.
It's not fix. I don't know if it will, but it's not fixing anything on the. Oh, that's much better. Thank you. That was Joseph fixing my exposure. Thank you so much for that. He won't say hi, though. So today I did one of these big gridded, let me show you guys. I did one of these gridded sort of watercolor tests, and this was for the Jasper Stardust set I recently ordered because I'm working on the review for this. So this is their basic set, or his basic set, and it's 12 colors, and they are all really opaque for watercolors. So I'm not really sure how I feel about this set necessarily, because you guys who are familiar with my watercolors, you'll know I like working with like a lot of glazes. So I wanted to kind of give myself more experience working with these, especially after I did my like initial swatches and my lift test, and then I kind of played around to see how it worked with glazes. These do not glaze very well. They are very prone to lifting, and there's also several colors that for sure contain cobalt, like cobalt blue dark, cobalt turquoise, and cobalt green earth. But I also think celestial violet and cortilion might contain cobalt or cadmium. So I don't really know how I feel about these watercolors necessarily. Like, I really want to like handmade watercolors. Hey Heidi. And I have not, the hydrocolor set's nice, but other than that I haven't really found any that I like. Gesundheit. I think that is what he means, Terry. Yeah, because Terry's a nurse. They do look, if we're talking about the Jasper Stardust watercolors, I'm gonna leave them on screen while I do this sketch request. Like, I try to grab them and I can't. They do look beautiful, and some of the glazes are nice, and some of the mixes make for really pretty colors, so I haven't given up on them yet. A play fight, oh. Hopefully things didn't get too serious. Yeah, that's my concern about the cobalt, is it's pretty toxic, and there's 3 colors in that set that definitely have it, and 2 additional colors that I'm kind of like, I think probably contain cobalt. And then I don't even know how many of them include cadmium. Right. Okay, so I would say if you're thinking about getting the Jasper Stardust set and you're not completely tied to like it has to be handmade watercolor, I would say a really good alternative would be the Daniel Smith, their hand poured half palette sets they got going on. This one is $75-ish over on Dick Blick. You get 15 colors. This is around $86 through his Etsy, and you get 12 colors. There's a lot of similarities in the palette, but I think the Daniel Smith set includes more usable colors. And I do plan on doing like comparative swatches to kind of help people decide which one is a better choice for them. Also, this little palette took a lot of prep to get in working shape. He doesn't include magnets on the bottom of his hat pan, so you have to tape or glue them into the palette. He didn't include a color map. I mean, neither did Daniel Smith. So I had to make a color map, and then I ended up, as I unwrapped my watercolors, I taped them to the back of the box as kind of like a reference map. So I felt like I had to do a lot of work to get this in a working condition, and this was ready, almost ready to go as soon as I got it, because these palettes don't come out. So that is kind of a downside, but talking to one of the Daniel Smith reps, you can refill these half pans with your From To Daniel Smith watercolors. They are formulated slightly differently, but they encourage you to just refill them at home. If you guys are interested, I can do comparative swatches tonight on the stream. The reason I didn't necessarily plan that is because the colors on this camera aren't that great. So I'd prefer y'all to have like better color accuracy. But let me know in the chat. I'd be happy to do that. I really like the travel set. You work with fewer layers than I do, Terry, so I think you're going to love it. My problem with the travel set it isn't quite as transparent as I want. Like I really like the core mini palette set the best in terms of like colors and handling that I prefer. So this set has a lot of their Quin colors, and core tends to have more finely ground palettes, more finely ground pans than say Daniel Smith. So for me, I like this because it's not as likely to sediment, and I usually have trouble where my paintings will kind of turn to mud if I'm using colors that sediment because I do too many layers. So if you limit the number of layers, this can be a really good set. Have a good evening, Catherine. Okay. Well, see you in a bit then. Sorry. When you said see you in a bit, I thought you meant next week. Nothing wrong with that. Get in, get out, get it done. I feel like I spend too much time on my paintings and then they start getting really muddy and weird. I think the problem with the Jasper Stardust one, and this is something Kino Kitsune and I were talking about because Kino Kitsune introduced me to the Jasper Stardust brand, is that he is using too much pigment to too little binder. If you like to glaze, then the Core Mini palette is your buddy. This is a really good palette for people who like to glaze. And like, let me show you actually. The camera isn't gonna capture it completely, but that's okay. So this is something I painted with the Core Mini palette. And what I really like is that the colors, even the browns, are really fresh and vibrant. There's like a velvety melted chocolate. I know this is literally a chocolate, but like there's a velvety chocolatey feeling to their browns. And I do get some sedimentation, but it isn't so granulating that it starts to feel muddy. See, I work really small, and that kind of granulation, if I can't control it, can really start to cause problems. Oh, that is the truth. Oh, just a little bit more. Oh no, that's too much. Wait, no, just another layer. I swear, guys, this is the last layer. Okay, guys, add one. All right, gotta sleep on it. All right. Yeah. I think another good palette for you, particularly Terry, is the Da Vinci Mixing Colors palette. I love this palette. Thank you. This is a 12 color whole pan palette, and the colors are obviously, they're kind of basic. They're mixing palette colors, but they are so pretty. They are so clean and true. Their blues, like their ultramarine blue is one of my favorite ultramarine blues. It's very, very clean and pretty. This is I really like this set, and I think it's a pretty fair value, especially considering you're getting whole pans. And this is another one that, these are liquid poured pans rather than extruded pans. And I'm looking around to see if I can find an example of extruded pans. Ow. I stabbed myself with a nib. So this Lucas 1862 set, these are extruded pans. So they're a lot drier than these kind of liquid poured pans. And liquid poured pans tend to reactivate very quickly, and many of them have like a honey based binder. Ooh, did your job place get affected by that fire lab accident, or is it okay and they're just kind of like, you know, the insurance company is coming by and they need to make sure everything's in working order? It is someone's OC. It's Leah Trahan's OC, I think. She's really cute, yeah. I like her design a lot. Leah probably doesn't know this, but drawing cat girls is like kind of what got me into drawing to begin with. One of my first comics was about, it was like a Digiturette knockoff where a bunch of alien kids work at a bakery, and they're all based off of animal people because Digiturette. I feel like just experimenting and finding what works best for you, especially for those of us who do watercolor for illustration, is really the best way to go anyway, because a lot of like traditional watercolor resources are aimed at watercolor for fine art, which you know, I kind of take that with a grain of salt, but they do fewer layers, and their intention isn't to render things as tightly, or they're painting these huge portraits. Oh, geez. Are you going to be okay taking the time off from work? Hey, Anna, how are you? Hey, Krish. I'm good, recovering from a migraine, so I'm a little out of it this evening, but I feel all right, so I'll take that as a plus. I don't know. I wasn't introduced to Tokyo Mew Mew until it was like, what was it called, like Mew Power or something on the WB, and the voice acting was horrible. Mew Mew Power. Catherine's got it. A drawing tablet for a beginner. I bet Kino Kitsune and Heidi have some good recommendations for beginners drawing tablets. I'm using a Logitech C922, and I am streaming through OBS, but I've had some problems with getting it to connect to YouTube sometimes. No problem, Chris. Thank you so much, Kino Kitsune, for helping them. Here's a secret. I have a really hard time drawing sneakers, so I usually just draw Converses, and that's why I still have a really hard time drawing sneakers. Because I should be drawing, like, if I can't draw them, I should be practicing them, right? They are kind. It's the weird shape, and I've never owned cool sneakers. Like, I think these, I don't know if y'all can see them. Yeah, y'all can see them. I think those sneakers are super duper cute. And like, these are really cute, and these are disgustingly cute. I would own all of these really cute sneakers. But they tend to be kind of expensive, and not, like, if you can get them in the US, they tend to be knockoffs, so they eat up my feet. So I just admire the aesthetic from afar. All right, that is one sketch request down. Thank you so much, Iktrahan, for letting me draw your cute, smug cat girl. Somebody has a complicated request. They want me to draw the cover for their Squirrel Chef cookbook, Nuts for Cooking. I'm gonna instead switch away and do something else real quick. Sorry. Gosh, I make really dumb noises when I sneeze. All right, this is the majority of a package from the wonderful Heidi. There we go. Remove that, and let's move these distracting items off of the tabletop. And if y'all are cool with it, I kind of wanted to open it on camera and we can kind of talk about what's inside. What is missing is a bottle of Kaime Soul K, which is alcohol marker proof ink. And the only reason that's missing is because I've already put it away. It wasn't part of this like larger parcel. Thank you, Catherine. And Heidi tricked me because Heidi told me to pick out some things that I wanted, and I thought I was paying for them, so I picked out a lot of things. And then Heidi was like, surprise, it's for your birthday. Ha ha ha, sucker. So thank you very much, Heidi. So we have some Band-Aid. They're washi tape succulents, and I thought they were super cute. Let me see if I can find the beginning. Yeah. So you peel off what you want to use, and you can use it to decorate illustrations, or you can use it to seal letters. Oh, there's also some fruit in here. That's neat. There is also no, it is not waterproof. That's the problem with Kaimei Solkei. It's not like a universal ink, but it's one of the few inks I've encountered that I can use with a brush or a nib, and it won't be reactivated by alcohol markers. So this is like an adhesive dot applicator. And it looks like it also has a tape runner function. Hi, yeah, look, there's the tape runner function, so you can either stamp your adhesive or run your adhesive. That's neat. I will demonstrate that in a moment. More glue tape adhesive, because I just never ever have enough adhesive. I can't read those Japanese instructions. Oh, I'm super excited for the April box. If anybody else is interested in signing up for Zenpop, let me know. I actually have an affiliate link with them now, so let me send you my affiliate link if you're going to sign up. We also have some Tachikawa G-nibs. Of course, I would need a sharp implement. Yes. Wait, no, because Zenpop renamed it to reflect the shipping dates. I'm talking about, they're calling it their April box. The Sakura box. I'm not getting any, yes. It's confusing. They're not doing a March box. So they bumped the March box to April, and they bumped, yes, something. Yeah, wait, hey, excuse. It's because it takes 2 weeks for it to ship. And these are, I mean, there are lots of companies that make G-nibs. Tachikawas are my favorite because they're a little bit more flexible, and I'm very heavy-handed, so you can get really nice thick lines with them without, like, ruining your nib. And then I am super excited about these. So Heidi sent me like 4, I want to say, of the colors open stock. Yeah. And I tested them out, and they're actually incredibly erasable. And I thought these could be really, really cool on my tone tan paper. Are you feeling okay, Kino Kitsune? Are you having a migraine too this evening? Man, Japan packs everything super nice and classy, although it is huge. Wow. Let me do it the other way. Wow. Oh, the lacquer on these is so classy. They smell so good, y'all. This is my ASMR. Just so, would you guys like me to demonstrate these for you guys tonight? Or do you want to save this for another video? Let me know in the chat. just swatch. I don't have the energy to make an art piece, but maybe I can do an art piece next time I'm drawing. And finally, I'm really excited about this. This is the Persnavi perspective grid. And I sent one to Sam, or Kabocha, after AX, because the Copic booth was selling these. And then I regretted not buying myself one. So we get 2 grids in here, and you guys know I still do a lot of my stuff by hand because oh cool, it comes with a book. Sorry. I still do a lot of my stuff by hand, so I thought this could be really helpful for me for like doing backgrounds quickly without having to draw a perspective grid myself, and it includes instructions. But I was also thinking this might be a really useful tool for some of my students. So much Japanese that I can't read. We'll make Joseph read this. He's been practicing his Japanese. It even explains like how you can line things up. So these are really cool. What anime girl is yelling at me? So this looks like it would be like a 1-point perspective grid maybe. Yeah, it looks like 1 point. And then this one looks like a 2-point floor perspective. So they're very specific grids, mostly used, it looks like, mostly used in like school settings or home settings where you can see a lot of the floor. So it's not like the end-all be-all solution to all your perspective needs, but there are also really cool perspective brushes for like Photoshop. And then there are ways you can use Clip Studio Paint to do perspective grids. So there are lots of other options available. This is just another tool in a plethora of tools. And I'm excited for this one because I'm really hoping it can help make perspective a little bit more accessible to some of my students. So thank you so much, Heidi. I hate to say that this is the one I'm the most excited about. It's like this and the art erase because these are really cool. And I can't wait to try these out on tone tan paper because you get a lot, it seems like you can get a lot of color richness from these. So thank you so much. I am super excited. Yep, whoever made it is a genius. If you wanted to make something like this at home on a budget, like I said, there are perspective grid brushes, or you could even use Photoshop to make a perspective grid. Then you could print it out on like large cardstock at a place like Office Max, and then use this underneath a light table if you wanted to do it traditional. Oh yeah, it's way easier and cheaper to do it digitally, but some of us have trouble thinking about, like my brain struggles with it. No, I have to draw, if I'm doing perspective grids, I have to know what the background looks like for me to do the right perspective grid. So I have to already have a background sketch kind of in mind. Ah, I want to put it in here to protect it, and I think I'm going to ruin it. I really don't want to ruin it. I just cut off the adhesive strip. I could probably get it back in, no problem. Joseph, can you put this away for me? Be careful because it wants to stick to the book and I want to save the book. Because the book's like half of how cool it is, you know what I mean? Because it explains all these different ways for using it. Everybody's complimenting your taste. Heidi's taste in awesome art supply accessories. Oh, this has all the different pretty little succulents. And these look like berries and more berries, and I don't know, but I think that's a fruit. And that looks a lot like a succulent I drew. But after a while, all succulents start looking very similar. And these are just cool if you like doing stuff with like Shiogami paper, washi paper. What?
You don't keep the succulents alive. Yeah.
I can't keep the succulents. They all die. All my succulents die because I'm a plant killer.
That's why they all look similar, because they're all dead.
I am. Thank you so much. So, what does that bring us? It brings us back to doing a couple more sketch requests. Big check mark here. I won't even scratch that. So back to sketch requests. No, don't drop. Okay, so now I have to do nuts for cooking. It is a cover of a Squirrel Chef cookbook, possibly a zine. And I'm just gonna do a thumbnail for this, okay? And if we like it, I can always refine it out into something more. Because it's a cover for something, even if it's a gag cover, I still want to take it in stages. And I'll let Joseph explain the concept. I'll let Joseph explain the concept in chat. I'll be interested to see if the Art Erase pencils blend and what kind of blenders they blend with, if they blend. But I'm really, really the most excited about using them on tone tan paper. Really? Really, Prismacolor? Really? It is a shame because there's not a lot of... I wish we had more like physical stores we could go into and find Japanese art supplies. Like, I wish more independent art supply stores carried more Japanese products. And I know, like, just listening to the Goulet vlogs, that it can be hard to work out those kind of deals. Like, Sailor is very protective of their products, which they should be. I mean, it represents them, and how their products are sold represents them. Kooky is kooky. Kooky desu. And I would imagine the squirrel would have like very scrawny little black squirrel fingers. Like, I think it's so cute. And some ear tufts. Did we decide if the squirrel needed an apron?
Yeah, I said definitely an apron. You said a chef's hat.
Oh,
no,
not a chef's hat? Are you kidding? Like a little chef's hat? Come on. Come on. A full-length apron or a half apron? Let's go with full length. Like if the apron's too short? Yeah, that would be pretty cute.
Like you don't want it to look like a bib.
I mean, the problem is the table should cover up, like, should come to his waist. Well, that's why we're doing this as like a thumbnail sketch. This isn't like the refined finished version, which I think would make an excellent print. Like that's the kind of print I would laugh at and buy, or like a postcard. It'd make a good postcard. It's a very dadly postcard.
Or a trading card recipe.
Oh my gosh, squirrel trading cards. I could be behind that. Anyway, this is a thumbnail, so I'm sure we will come up with better. I'm not even referencing squirrel. I made a reference squirrels. Oh no, no squirrels in my house, please. I have cats. It's squirrely enough. Like, oh, look at this squirrel. Oh, so cute. Oh, squirrel. Oh, y'all can't look at that squirrel because I turned off reference.
You scoot you over the table so that you can ship that squirrel down.
Yeah, I did actually. I like the idea of the squirrel town. I think squirrels are really cute. I mean, I prefer raccoons. Like, if we're talking trash animals, I love raccoons. We're just gonna have like a really not good squirrel drawing, and that's okay, because that's why it's a first draft. It's just a sketch to get the ideas out. Yeah, I definitely need like a better way to draw the little swirly feet. He looks very proud though. I like the proud expression.
The tail has to be covering up part of the in and nuts, or part of the in and you and nuts, because that's what magazine covers do.
They do! They do! You're right. And this is just a draft, like I said, so. I feel like some little, like, tree stumpy chairs with, like...
Tree stump chairs will be super.
I know! You like it. See, this is why we're together. Joseph likes tiny, cute things also, but more like animals. You should have read Redwall as a kid. You would have loved Redwall as a kid. Maybe not all the Redwall books, because not all of them are equally good, but, like, definitely you'd have liked the Redwall series. So he's, like, showing off, like, a walnut.
I believe, like, little inserts in the corners, like 40 recipes inside.
Well, yeah, but we would do that. We would draw the base illustration, and then I would do something like that in Photoshop. Join me next week when I redraw this illustration again, except better. So, like, he would definitely have, like, a mortar and pestle. I need to move the whole thing over, all the framing over, so that we can see more of the table, but we still get to see, like, optimum squirrel tomatori. What? You gotta have priorities when you're drawing. You gotta think about, like, what about this drawing do I want everyone to see? And the squirrel tummy is definitely... That's what I mean, just move the whole thing over some. That sounds so cute. so cute. I'll sketch it over here. Okay, so what I would do with this picture is I will move it over, and I also want to shrink it so we can see more of the squirrel kitchen. Hey Tanner, hey Allie. Obviously, he needs like a nutcracker in the scene. Like propped up against one of the walls. Not like a Christmas nutcracker, but like a traditional walnut cracker. He also needs like drawings and pictures of nuts in his like obviously rustic squirrel kitchen. Hey, Melissa. So, when I redo this, I need to redo the table so that the table's more rustic. Like maybe one of those little round tables with like a handkerchief dripping off the, you know what I mean, draped over it as the tablecloth. Filled with nut recipes. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to capture the squirrel chef a little bit better. See, are you envisioning this as a magazine cover or as a cookbook? Magazine cover, okay. So it's squirrel cooking, nuts for cooking. Or is it different animal chefs presenting? Like nuts for cooking works really well with like squirrels, mice, smaller animals, maybe even raccoons. Could be nuts for cooking. A raccoon would wear a chef's hat. I will fight you. A raccoon would wear a chef's hat. It would be the fattest raccoon. It'd be so cute. Yes. Love it. Foraging, cooking. Smashes them against hard objects. That is how squirrels do. No cutting, no knives. Or he puts them under a car and lets the car do the work. And he has like all these horror stories about how he almost died that one time. Oh, so cute. I tried to get a squirrel to take an almond from me today. He was not digging it. I tossed the almond to the ground in case he changed his mind. Oh, look at the baby. Some of these, yeah, it's a monkey squirrel. Some of these squirrels look like they could beat you up. Like that, I don't know. Okay, if this little guy came to my knee, I might run away from him. When I fall into like a squirrel browse. Look at the little, oh, he's so pretty. Hey, guy. Yes, oh my gosh. Okay, but a raccoon Guy Fieri would say everything was money. Like anything, everything under the sun is money. They love everything. But they would insist on washing all the sauce off, so it no longer has any flavor. Wait, is that real? Is that a thing? Like, people have drawn a raccoon Guy Fieri?
No, it's just
Okay. Hey, fill it out.
commanding an army
Of course he would. He is a raccoon. Fill out a request form for me for a raccoon Guy Fieri saying all of the trash foods are the money.
I'm not sure if your own request counts as a request.
I think people would. Look, people are talking about raccoon Guy Fieri, okay? I think people would enjoy hanging out and talking about raccoon Guy Fieri, right? Right, guys? Back me up here. Squirrel having coffee at Cafe Du Monde. They already steal all the beignets. Yes, draw. Drawing his little squirrely arms a little too long. Although, maybe like a crow reviewing Chef Ramsay. Ugh, squirrel legs. Why are you so hard to draw when I'm just trying to... Ah, that's why. Alright, there we go. Figured it out. Gotta draw them like little pajamas. I don't know, I have kind of a good feeling about this. Y'all need to draw all of your takes on these animal chefs, food reviewers, food critics, connoisseurs. I want to see them. Show them to me. Modern day Redwall animal food critics. I feel like Joseph, a animal-based cookbook would probably sell to the picture book market.
Yeah, probably.
Like, everybody likes animals and most people like food, and you combine animals and food, you either have a health code violation or a bestseller on your hands, right? All right. I think this is a little bit better of a rendition of our nuts for cooking squirrel. You approve? Oh, you sent me reference? Okay, let me see. Let me see this reference. Oh, he's so fat. Oh, do y'all see this squirrel? Do you not just want to like... He looks soft too. I bet he's somebody's pet. Like A, he's very soft. B, he's very fat. C, he is very, I mean, they might have like a telephoto lens, but he seems very chill with this whole process. He's very cute. He looks like a squirrel and a chinchilla. Delete it. Somebody wants a Quin Gold showdown on cotton rag paper. Oh, not what I want up. Joseph, drop the request link. Fill it out, Tanner, and I'll draw it. Not necessarily tonight. That way it like keeps me on top of everything. Okay, so we have a request. Patrons, what do you mean? Ali is a patron, but so is Drew. And so is Kino Kitsune, who asked for the Quin Gold Showdown. And technically you are as well, as you patronize me all the time. I do want to do it though. That's also why I asked him to fill it out, because it helps me stay organized. All right, so I have a request for a Quin Gold Showdown. I don't have all of the Quin Golds in the world. I feel a little bit like perhaps I don't have enough Quin Golds for y'all, but this is a quick one. So I have here Holbein Quin Gold. I have here Core Quin Gold. I have here the Daniel Smith older Quin Gold. And then I have the newer Quin Gold in their half pan formulation. So I am going to grab a cup of clean water and a cotton rag watercolor sketchbook, and I will be right back. Y'all can admire the art supplies while I'm gone. Like just shove it right on top of it. That's right, we're getting real close with Daniel Smith tonight. I'm sorry about that. Oh no. If they start, okay, legit, if they start making casual makeup, like lip balms in art supply packaging, you know I will buy it. So it's like kind of the reverse of my opinion with like Jane Davenport watercolor stuff. Hang on, there we go. All right, so I have here some Stonehenge cold press watercolor paper. I also have a collection of all the pink watercolors I own, and I will do that in another video. I would though, I would. So we're gonna start with the Holbein Quin Gold, and this is straight from the tube. It is a nice, really bright, sunny yellow Quin Gold, almost like an Indian yellow. No, I don't. But if someone else, if someone is interested in it, I can make one. Those are all Daniel Smith. Next up is Core Quin Gold. This is one of my favorite Quin Gold, and I really like Core watercolors. So it is a little bit more orange, a little more saturated, a little warmer. Could be really great if you are painting metallic gold objects. And it stays warm even as we blend it out. So that is Core Quin Gold. Next is the Daniel Smith older formulation of Quin Gold, and Kino Kitsune sent me this tube after like tracking it down at an AC Moore. And apparently some people are willing to pay 50 bucks a tube for this, so it truly is Quin Gold. It's nice. It's somewhere in between the Holbein. Let me see if I can maybe get it a little more saturated. The Holbein Quin Gold and the Core Quin Gold. So that is the older formulation of Daniel Smith Quin Gold. And then finally, from these half pans, we have the newer formulation of Quin Gold. Oh, it's actually a little bit richer. So as they dry, I'm just going to come in and do just another stripe on top of the same formula, just to show how they layer. These two are still a little bit damp, so I'll give them a moment. Which Quin Gold is your favorite Quin Gold? I feel like this is like RC regular cars. Which Mazda's best Mazda? see squirrels. Do I still have the squirrel up? No, I do not have the squirrel up anymore. No more squirrels. What'd you say about Quin Golds?
Except there's nothing to make fun of.
No, they're all pretty similar. I think the core one, like as I'm looking at it, kind of step back. I think the core one is probably the darkest one, but not necessarily the most saturated one. I think the most saturated one is the new formulation of Daniel Smith. Okay, so that is another stripe of old formulation. And then we have the new one. And Kino Kitsune says to mix the old formulation at mass tone. I might as well do this for all of them. All right, so that is the core. Then we have Holbein. Hey, Nisa. I'm glad you can make it, if even only for a little while. How's your week been? Holbein at mass tone. They're all really pretty at mass tone. And then finally, the new formulation. Let's do this at mass tone as well. And then although these will take forever, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply these, let them dry, work on some of the sketch requests, and then come back to this after they've dried. And I'm just doing a few swatches of these Daniel Smith half pans. And if you're interested in a full review of this set, I have one here on this channel. Joseph will drop a link for you. No, the Daniel Smith half pan, unless you're answering somebody's question. Oh, that's really cool. What's your intended use case? Like, are you building a streaming computer, or are you building an art computer, or is it for video games? I know these days we don't necessarily have to think about it so divided as that, but I think it's pretty cool that you're also building your own rig. I guess you're probably pretty eager to get cracking at that. Yeah, it's the ultimate mixing set one. I think, honestly, for 75 bucks, I think it's a really good deal. It isn't my personal favorite only because some of these colors sediment a little bit more than I'm able to control. But I think if you like sedimenting colors, or you limit your watercolor to one or two layers or 1 or 2 glazes, I think this could be a really, really good set. Also, just in terms of like archive quality, Daniel Smith is really good about light testing their watercolors and creating watercolors that will really stand the test of time. I prefer, like, I use Daniel Smith watercolors pretty frequently, but I use them from tubes in half pans for Cara pages. Oh, I cheated you guys. I'm so sorry. Like, check out some of this sedimentation on some of these colors, especially some of the browns. Oh, now I know why I didn't do that. I pushed it into my Quin Gold. Ah. I could have just moved the camera. Why do I have to be so stupid? Excuse me while I clean up around y'all. Oh, that's really cool. That feeling when you just tossed your rag and you got Quin Gold all over your hand. That life. Oh, I'm sorry, Krish. I'd have to get to know you a little bit better before we could do something like that. I'm gonna let these watercolors dry. And resume sketch requests. But wouldn't you enjoy the stream so much more if you didn't have to worry about being a moderator? All right, next up is a sketch request from Zora. Piper Stromwell is your average 8-year-old girl, a lover of comics and playing the drums. Sounds pretty cool. She's excited to see what her 3rd grade year has in store for her. It would really surprise me if she was not like the most popular kid, because like, come on, being into comics and playing the drums when you're in 3rd grade, that is a recipe for popularity. I'm not even being sarcastic. Oh, cute! Wow, okay. Sorry. I am talking to this Prismacolor, which is forever snappage. I'm using a Quin pencil sharpener, which in my opinion is superior tech, but this one might not want to play nice with me tonight. But also, I may have that. I bought these open stock at Jerry's Like they were just out on the sales floor. So, you know, someone may have dropped it and put it back in the bin, which is a mean thing to do.
One of the cashiers dropped one of them and asked you if you wanted it replaced, right?
Well, yeah, that did happen. And I said it was fine because I did want to try the whole, like, you can put them in the oven to get the cores to re-solidify. So I kind of wanted to try that trick out. I'm trying a different Quin sharpener. They are good. I don't know what's up with me today. I'm gonna go over to the trash can and sharpen it.
Like, good luck.
Maybe. Well, also, like, my little pencil shaving cup is full. It's gonna cover. Here, hold this. This is a brass. This is not like, okay, hold the magnesium and right? Like, after you've held one, the other one either feels cheap, it's just magnesium, so it's not cheap, or like overly substantial. Okay. Ah! Look, take a point. And that's when I get flagged with like a content DMCA strike from Squaresoft. They're like, no. That is a bit of a stretch for a joke. Because we... whatever. Are you talking about to YouTube or to Instagram? Because I've noticed that I've been losing Insta followers, which it's kind of like, if something I did bothered you, you either need to tell me or I guess goodbye. But also, YouTube does auto unsubscribe people. Like, it's unsubscribed me from you in the past and I had to resubscribe, and I only realized it when it'd been a while and I hadn't seen any updates. Yeah. I don't know. You could also just try asking, but that takes a brave soul. Actually, I kind of want to try drawing her in my normal style. So there's a few documentary. Okay. So I'm really interested in how social media and how social media personalities, like the psychological effects that being constantly on and online has on people. And there's a few documentaries out that I think are really interesting. Like both of the Fire Festival documentaries talk about how they used influencers, people who, y'all know what influencers are, but these are people who have like millions upon millions of followers who get paid $200K to do a single post, like Jenner level of influencer. How they used influencers to sell this idea of a festival that's already overly expensive, that no one can really afford. It's on an island, no one is attended, and it's a first year show. You can get people to drop like $6K to go to this first year show, right? So the Fire Festival documentaries are really interesting to me in that regard, like how far people will go for this notion of like fake friendship or fake belonging. And then there's also some documentaries on YouTube that are about being famous YouTubers and the detrimental effects it has, and like all of the people in the documentary I saw, all of them had started to develop these really bad anxiety problems. And if I can find the documentaries, I'll share them with you guys, because I think they're really interesting, and it's something I've noticed in myself. Like the more I put pressure on myself to do well on social media in hopes that I will be able to negotiate that into a comic book deal, the more I feel like garbage all the time. A lot of people follow people on Instagram, so you look at the... Yeah, and the whole like follow unfollow thing is a really big thing on Twitter as well. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Yeah, please do. Jerry, I hate to say, I'm sorry. I'm glad I left a good impression. I'm really sorry that other artists were not doing that. I will say a couple years ago, my anxiety was so bad that I couldn't look at my comment section anymore. There was a period of time, and I don't know if this was like the same for you, Terry. Yeah, I've seen that too, and I would really like to see a documentary on that, because I mean, I guess part of it is kind of like watching a train wreck, but part of it is also like I'm very curious about learning what the costs are for this. I know it has to have a cost, and we're gonna have to pay it. So I want to know what those costs are so that I can decide whether the social media aspect of it is important, or if I should just focus on just being like a person and not really stress about how other people see me. You know what I mean? Like we're really pushed to be positive all the time on social media, and I find that actually kind of makes me sick. I start having anxiety about that as well. I'm a ball of anxiety, to be fair. So like my idea of being a person again is just saying what I think and not necessarily being concerned how other people, like I never intend to hurt people, so that's not really a concern necessarily. I do not want to hurt people. I want to continue to not hurt people, but that, you know, since that's not something I am generally going to do, that's not something I'm worried about. But like I don't talk about TV shows I like because I'm afraid it's going to cause controversy. I don't talk about manga I like because I'm afraid it's going to cause controversy. I don't talk about restaurants we go to because sometimes I just don't feel like getting into it with people. I would also say, like, going way back to like the unfollowing thing, I think your art's really good. I really like your art, and I don't understand why people unfollow you when you update. I'm really sorry to hear that, and I can only imagine. I know how that feels when that happens to me, so I can extrapolate how it feels when it happens to you. Right? Yeah, or like without somebody being like, wow, must be nice to be able to afford XYZ, and it's like, yes, it is nice. I'm grateful that I can. I'm glad you made it. How are you, Madeline? You know what? People have had a really, Kabocha knows this, and you know this. People have had a really hard time with the fact that I often share negative reviews of products. Like, my Jasper Stardust review is in the works, and I have a feeling I'm going to get a lot of people who are not going to like what I have to say, even though I think I was honest and I don't think I was in any capacity cruel. But there's always going to be people who have a problem with my honest opinion on art supplies. That's right. Like, you do work hard, and you should be able to enjoy the things you buy, and you're not necessarily an impulsive buyer either, so you should be able to enjoy them without feeling guilty for occasionally indulging. Yeah, I'm trying to like get to that point where I'm comfortable talking about the things I'm interested in again. Oh, I drew her smile so big. Let me get a Post-it and fix her. I know, I'm looking for anything. I usually have like a million. Yeah, I know, but I keep some in my drawer here. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that video, Terry. They meaning the viewers, or they meaning Creative Art Box? You definitely have a point, dabbling artist. I also think there was just a period of time where everybody was going through hell, and some people took that out on other people. So I'm just working towards building up my confidence to put myself out there again. I do envy you that. Yeah, that's how I feel too, Heidi. Um, yeah, it's like, I think of it like a lifestyle purchase, you know? But like, what do you do if you're not always happy, or you're often unhappy with your lifestyle because you're working towards a different life? Like, how do you present that? Because if you don't talk about employment issues or financial issues, like the real things you're going through, people will make assumptions about you. Like, people assume that companies just send me these things. They assume that conventions gift us our tables, like it's paid for and our airfare is paid for. They assume that I have a publisher who's putting out my books and that I'm getting paid for that, without like, and y'all know I'm very honest about my experiences with these things because I want to help fight those misconceptions. Yeah, well, that's a wonderful use of social media. Yeah. For me, a lot of my friendships have either moved to Facebook Messenger or they've moved to Discord. That's garbage, Terry. Like, ugh, that's like such a reductionist view of a person. Yeah. Holy smokes. Kino Kitsune sent me something really interesting yesterday that they found on Reddit. And it's a Bic ad presented like it's somebody submitting a handwriting sample to show what the Bic ballpoint pen can do. And I couldn't read the whole thing because it just looked like a collection of fonts. So I was just like, I can't read this. But I thought it was really manipulative of Bic to pretend to be a regular consumer. I didn't appreciate that. Like I would prefer if they just created their own account and engaged people on Reddit like human beings. I bet Pepper's excited about the rib bag. Where'd you get ribs from? Oh, oh, we're talking about. I'm talking about a Bic ad. I think dabbling artists, you're gonna end up being happier with your experiences using it that way than trying to act like a big brand or trying to act like like influencer culture. Hey, Kino Kitsune, could you possibly drop a link for that? Like I feel like social media is very performative and that if you don't live up to other people's expectations, then you are penalized for it. And I think that's a lot of pressure because it's like a job, but we're not getting paid for it. Ooh, that sounds tasty. Armadillo Willies. Oh yeah, because in Louisiana, armadillos can carry leprosy. Yeah, but the problem is when people start confusing the two, and even if you try really hard to keep it distinct, that can happen. Especially because as artists, so much of our life is also our art. So sometimes that the line of what's okay and what isn't okay can get kind of blurry. I think the worst I get is I get sometimes people on Instagram asking me really personal questions without any context or like wanting to meet up with me for like a date or something despite being very blunt that I have a fiance. So like for me like being nice and personable is often misconstrued as being like available, but that's I feel like I'm lucky because like I have friends who get treated a whole lot worse. I think my personal problem with the Bic ad is that it feels like it feels like they're trying to trick us. and they're doing it by trying to come across as like your average consumer who also reviews products. Lab Accident, do you have a preference for which pronouns we use for you? Do you have a preference for what pronouns we use for you? Awesome. All right. Can do. I would think if you had too nice of pins at work, like if you were a waiter or a waitress, people would steal them. Yeah.
I feel like in circumstances like that, figure out
What's the best one? I bet.
probably one of the hardest.
I don't know. I mean, both. Okay, so a lot of waiters and waitresses are also like in an arts field, so maybe they're bringing some of that preference to work. Piper is super cute, Drew. I hope she has a good third grade. Although, if this is like any middle grade novel, she's gonna have a really hard time at first and then make lots of friends. What did I do? No, I don't want to print it. Okay, all right. So all that is left is Nora's drawing of a girl that is really a rose. And then next week I will do no, I'm not doing it next week, week after, I guess. I will eventually get to Raccoon Guy Fieri. Raccoon Fury. Thank you. A girl that is really a rose. No, come back here. I'll try putting a different spin on this. Wait, you did you really draw? Did y'all really draw it? Yes, let me see, let me see. No, you should definitely send me your raccoon. Got nice. Oh my gosh. And yet so fitting. You should send that to Gordon. Like, you should tweet that at Gordon Ramsay. I have a feeling he would like it. You could also consider using, like, if you got a good scan of it and you colored it, that can make a really good con sketch because, well, I should say con mini print. But the thing is, so many people are going to be like, oh, I get it, and then not buy it. But then you're also going to get the people who are like, that's amazing, I need it, my friend's a chef. The judgment. Oh, I know. It looks really cool. Oh, I want everybody to hear you crunching on an apple. I don't think it'll pick up that far. The chat got quiet and I'm getting sleepy. So I think this might, so I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish the watercolor thing I'm doing. And then I think I'll call it an evening because it will have been 2 hours. So next week I am moving. Maybe. Next week, I am moving the stream to Thursday evening. I can do it earlier if you guys prefer. And the reason... it wouldn't surprise me, Lindsay. The reason I am doing that is because I have to go to my students' zine exchange at the Groove on Friday. And that's going to be from 5 to 7. So I'm going to be out celebrating my students' success and checking out their amazing mini comics and zines. So I won't even be here. Although I may ask Joseph to do a little bit of either video. I definitely want to at least get some video of the event because I'm super excited and I want to have it to show other people. But I don't know if it's going to be streamed or if we're just going to record it and then release it afterwards. But I have something I think is really cool and special planned for Thursday evening for you guys. So I hope you guys can make it. Gimme that. Raccoon Fier. Oh my god, he's such a trash panda. I couldn't draw this better. I love it. This is amazing. Jeez. I love it. He's so excited. This is like the best thing I do. He's so excited. Look at his hair. Raccoon, you need to color that. He's so cute. Oh my gosh, what a trash panda. I bet if you sent him that, I bet if you sent Guy Fieri that, he would love it. He'd get a tattoo of the trash panda on his arm. I would. If somebody did Becca as like the art supply raccoonist, I would be so excited. It's a great drawing. He's sending you messages. He's like, you need to pet me. You need to pet me. Oh, no problem, Jerry. I'm really glad you can make it. I like how everybody's losing their mind over that raccoon.
Yeah, power stream message.
Oh, if I love it. I don't know that I could do that, but I love it. I feel like Raccoon Guy, that is definitely like a persona. And feel free to hit me up if you ever have any other questions, Jerry. Hey, Hema! Oh my gosh, Hema. Okay, so you need to click on the link that Heidi just posted. Nobody spoil it. So this is my rendition of a girl that is really a rose. So this one goes out to Noor. Thank you so much for placing the sketch request. And Heidi already beat me, so I'm going to consider that one accomplished. And now, before I bid you guys a good evening, oh wait, there's two other things I want to do. So, what? Yes, this, and then can you pass me that gray thing over there? No, not well. I would, doggone it, stop it. I would shove him under, no, stop it, do not look. There. Right there is good. Oh no, I wanted to use, which Quin Gold did I want to use? Do I want to use the old Quin Gold or the new Quin Gold?
I think she said she likes the old one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to go with. I just got to find it in my hoard of a stash. Y'all want it? Y'all want that gray thing? Where's that gray thing? Where is that gray thing? Oh, no? Where? Oh, he's jammed himself underneath the desk because it's warm. Y'all ain't getting that gray thing. Okay, so old formula, Quin Gold. Hopefully this is dried long enough. That's still wet, so let's do it this way instead. What I like about these, I mean, this one moved a little bit, but most of these didn't move. Well, that green one's moving too now. Maybe I didn't let them dry long enough. I think 7 would be good for me, just because it's fine doing these long streams on Friday nights, but it's harder if I have work stuff the next day. So 7 p.m. CST is when I'm going to do the Thursday stream. Yeah. No, thank you for your feedback. I appreciate it. All right, so that is the Quin Gold over a select handful of the colors from the Half Pan palette. While I have y'all, I'll torture y'all. Although you could watch the full review. That's true. That would be at 5 for you. So that would make it kind of hard. But I'm probably going to dive straight into the project, the surprise. So I guess maybe 7:30 be okay. I don't want to push it back too late because I don't want to be wrecked the next day, because on Friday I have to be there an hour early to help set up, and we start at 5. I know, so early, Becca, so early. People with real day jobs are like rolling their eyes. QQ, cry me a river. But I mean, I also have like other stuff I want to get done before the show. What's really nice about this little set is it is honestly incredibly compact. They don't spend any space on mixing wells, which honestly I wouldn't use on this. They just cram those paints in there, which for me, that's really what I want, because I don't really use the wells on my palettes. I usually either use this thing or, you know, one of those daisy wells. So this is small enough that it can fit in my purse or in my pocket, my women's jeans pocket. So some of y'all know ain't nothing fitting in those. Can't even get a cell phone in there. Well, I can probably push it back till 8. I'll just... We'll do the main event, and then we'll call it an evening after that. And then this is the core palette. And this one has kind of an unusual selection of colors for a palette intended for mixing. It includes pyrrole orange, which is a really saturated orange. It includes magenta, which isn't that unusual, but it does make for some really nice mixes. It includes alizarin crimson, so it doesn't include like a cadmium red or like a naphthol red or any of the cool reds. It goes straight for magenta. It includes dioxine violet, and that is like a really purple. I'm sure my camera is not capturing it. It includes their incredibly nice ultramarine blue that uses Aquazol as the binder, and I'll show y'all real quick. So this is Aquazol. That's gum arabic. Gum arabic is a common binder for watercolor paints, but it tends to make blues and purples kind of muddy. So that's why core watercolors can be really vibrant. They're using a different binder. Hey, Noor. That's right. Get to sharing this channel, and we can have. I would make Guy Fieri with your permission, Heidi. Though I would make Guy Fieri one of my emotes for sure. That is a mood. Guy Fieri raccoon, obviously. Gosh. So Noor, a little earlier in the stream, I did my take on your Rose Girl, so I wanted to show you in case you missed her. So that is my rendition of Your Girl Who Is Really a Rose. Thank you so much for the recommendation, and I'm gonna take pictures and post them on Instagram if you wanna take a closer look at it. The medium in the bottle, that is. So let's see. Talking to a core rep, they've said it's Aquazol. And I think if Kino Kitsune is still in the chat, they can definitely talk more about it. I know Heidi can as well. And then I also mentioned Da Vinci watercolors, so I'll swatch those for you really quick. I do plan on doing a giant swatch off with a bunch of these brands in the near future with better color quality. So think of this as like there to get you hype. Can you tell us more about Aquazol? Like, isn't Aquazol like the commercial name for it? And it's sold to other companies? I swear you sent me links to all that. But I may have just dug that up while I was researching products. So this set also uses a magenta as one. Well, actually, it's permanent Quin. Sorry, permanent rose Quin, not magenta. So it goes pinker than this set does. I find that this set is a little bit easier. Like, okay, my core set is great for mixing really saturated poppy colors. My Da Vinci set is really nice for mixing more natural things or doing like flower paintings, landscape paintings. It can also be useful for painting people. Their ultramarine blue is also really finely milled and very clean and nice. Not quite as intense blue as the core. Isn't it interesting too, like what one company calls sap green? So this is sap green and this is sap green. And they're very, this is more like an olive green and this one is more of a true green. Also, the core set does not include a yellow ochre, but it does include a burnt sienna. as well as a burnt umber. And all three of these sets actually include a burnt umber. And I think all three of these sets include, no, this one doesn't have a Payne's Gray. They figure you can mix your own. And their white in this set is actually pretty good. Usually I just throw away the titanium or Chinese white, but this is actually a pretty good white watercolor that has decent coverage. All right, so from top to bottom, we have Daniel Smith, we have the Core half palette, and then we have Da Vinci. And if you guys would give me a moment to get everything kind of squirreled away and cleaned up. I have one more thing I want to share with you guys, and then I can call it an evening. Oh, thank you so much, Noor. I've been practicing for a really, really, really long time. How are you liking it, Noor? Have you had a chance to play around with it much yet? I can't click that link yet, Kino Kitsune. What did they find? Can you give me the gist? I will read it. I am interested. I just am curious as to whether or not, even under artificial conditions, it holds up. What does that mean? Interacts with us? Now I want to know. I feel like Core. Well, I don't know, because Core is made by Liquitex, right? Liquitex has a history of making quality acrylics. It's a well-respected brand. I can't see Liquitex releasing a product with so much fanfare and really pushing it as much as they do unless they really believed in it, because they have a lot to lose. I know the reason they go with it is because it isn't as yellow as gum arabic, so it reflects color pigment purity a lot better. Alright, I will be right back. I am just emptying this really gross cup of water. You're close, Noor. So what I wanted to share with you guys is I finished painting chapter 8 for 7-inch Kara, which is my comic / webcomic. Can you drop a link to 7-inch Kara for me? So chapter 8 is the last watercolor chapter for this volume, and all I have left to do is I need to draw a side story for one of the characters, and I'm going to do that in black and white. Then I need to paint the cover, lay out the book, do kind of spot illustrations, but basically the bulk of the work is finished. So I wanted to flip through it with you guys because I'm really excited that I'm finally finished with it. So I letter my stuff digitally. And most of these were, so what we're looking at here was painted in fall. And I feel like I really struggle with watercolor during winter. Not only with arthritis in my hand, but also with how the pigments sit on the paper. So I'm pretty happy with these pages, but as we progress, I feel like it starts to lose some of the quality, and I think it's just because of the atmospheric conditions. Yeah, it's basically his painting, guys. Thank you. Oh, so many layers. Oh, I use up a lot of paint.
Are you talking 5?
No, like 30, 40, depending on what it is. So like Kara, for example, her face alone would be about 10 layers, which is why I also mentioned that I sometimes I feel like I overwork my work and it tends to get kind of muddy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too. That's why I said her skin alone. So like the grass is 4 or 5, like this kind of area is 4 or 5 layers alone as well. Thank you guys. I have like mixed feelings about this chapter because I didn't necessarily I was not necessarily able to like sit down and dedicate myself to working on it. I kind of had to like pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. So I'm going backwards here because I really like this spread. Well, yeah. And then this is kind of where a montage starts, and I feel like I start kind of struggling. The colors are kind of muddy. They're not as clean as I'd like them to be. And the montages were really one of the hardest sets of pages to do because there's just so many characters and so much going on. So they took me a really long time to kind of get through them. Now, I still need to scan them, digitally color correct them, do borders, do some corrections, like I might shrink his head, for example, and letter it before it's finished. I have a large large format Epson, what is it? Expression
11000XL.
11000XL, which is, how do I know what to draw? So I have a short version of the story, and that's called a synopsis, and it's from the very beginning of the story to the very end of the story. And then chapter by chapter, I kind of expand it and I figure out what I want to happen in that chapter and what I want them to do and what I want them to wear and what I want them to say. And then I draw something called thumbnails, which I have right here. I can show you guys. And thumbnails are like a tiny version of the comic page. And when I do my thumbnails, I'm really thinking about how the panel's laid out. I'm thinking about what the characters are doing, what their expressions are, that kind of stuff. But I'm not necessarily concerned with getting everything perfect. So let me find the thumbnail for this page. Huh, that's really weird. Oh yeah, these were drawn as an insert. No, wait, sorry. Getting myself confused. This page, yeah, this page right here, that's this page right here. And then this page becomes this page. So once I have all my thumbnails for my chapter done, I scan those and I print them out onto copy paper and I redraw them as something called roughs. So that's what these look like. And at this stage, I focus on getting the clothing right, getting the figure drawing right, getting the perspective right, how the viewers see things, tightening up the expressions, getting the character acting down. I make a lot of notes but I'm not concerned that much about color. I might make a few color notes here and there, but it's not something I'm necessarily thinking about too much at this stage. So this page turned into this page. And then after I've drawn my whole chapter as roughs, I scan them all. I print them as blue lines, which are really light blue lines, onto Canson XL watercolor paper. I pencil them, and then when I stretch the pages, and that means I attach them to corrugated plastic boards so they don't buckle when I add the water to them. When I stretch the pages, it washes away the blue dye. So all I'm left with is just the pencils, and then I paint on top of that. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. I feel really strongly about wanting to do comics set in Louisiana, because there's not a lot of stuff just in general set in Louisiana, and not really enough stuff written by somebody from Louisiana set in Louisiana. Oh man, when you're a little bitty artist like me, it's very hard to find companies willing to take you seriously or willing to work out a program with you. So I have an affiliate account with Amazon, and I have an affiliate relationship with Zenpop, and that's it. I never saw money from that. They never sent me any money from that. And I feel like you can also kind of tell when the weather starts chilling out, because my watercolors improve again and they get a lot cleaner. And then these are recent pages that I really, really like. I think Naomi turned out really pretty. And then these are the last 2 pages of tiny little 7-inch Kara hanging out with her dad, and then her whole family hanging out together with their pet gecko. And that's chapter 8. I'm so happy to be done with it. It takes forever to paint a chapter. Can I do a tutorial on how to draw something? I can do a tutorial on how to draw something next time, but I can share some links with you on tutorials that I've already done. Yeah, you can always fill out a request form for, like, show me how to draw a pretty girl, or show me how to draw a cat, or show me how to draw a salamander, and I'm happy to do that. So, what kind of art supplies would Kara use? So she uses crayons, charcoal, basically crayons and charcoal right now. So I bought 2 rolls of 2 rolls of cinnamon rolls from the freezer section, because I'm going to try to make a very poor man's king cake. And I am sharing some drawing tutorials in case anybody is interested in those. Wait, what? They knew, and they were like, I'm not buying a king cake, because getting king cake up here, you got to ship it in from Louisiana. And I did that when I was in Savannah, and it was 90 bucks for 3 king cakes, and they never got delivered. This is someone who knows what's going on. Wow, you did describe it very accurately. It kind of tastes like cinnamon roll, and it can have different stuff inside of it. So it can have like a chocolate filling, or it can have like Bavarian cream, or lemon filling is really popular. I love king cake. I really miss it. I mean, okay, all right. So I feel like many stuffed king cakes do not taste good. I will give you that. Done poorly, stuffed king cake is gross. Because it makes the cake all soggy and nasty. Y'all tell me when to stop spamming the chat. What'd you do? You said you did it. What'd you do? That's really pretty. So you did this tutorial? Summer's in Slidell. That sounds so boring. What did you do for fun in Slidell during the summer? I know that! That's why I said it sounds so boring. I'm from Luling, Jerry. Luling is the most boring. We don't have anything. Excitement was going down to Sonic. We got excited when we got a Walmart. Oh, cool. All right, well, the next time I do a drawing stream, I will definitely check that out and try to make you happy. I gotcha. My grandparents lived in Picayune, and Slidell was like where you went to have fun. What was the hardest page in? Oh yeah, my arthritis was really bad. See, now that I look at it, it's hard for me to remember which ones were the hardest. Probably the. Yeah, well, no. When did I start painting the cover? Probably in August. And there was like a long period of time where like I didn't get past, let me find it. Yeah, probably I didn't get past this section until SCBWI in September. And then I went out of town for a while, and I remember getting back into town in like January, and I was just like, I'm gonna finish this. And I like tried to dedicate as much time to it as possible every day. Hardest page though. Hardest page. Probably the montage pages. I love painting grass, so that is not the hardest pages. Getting Naomi's skin tone right consistently is hard. There's some inconsistencies, but I'm going to chalk that up to the nature of watercolor. So these kind of pages where I have multiple characters doing multiple things, those were probably the hardest for me, because I can remember them taking me like 6 days to do them and having like a million palettes laid out in front of me, and then my cat wants to run through everything. Yeah, so for these montage pages, there's multiple. I change their outfits each time because it's supposed to imply like a long progression of everything's going along a certain way. Oh, you know what? Realistically, probably not, but Kara's mom, Meldina, is a seamstress, so, like, they can.
Yep.
I'm sure Tanner wears the same thing for a week at a time, and everyone's like, "Ooh, take a bath." All right, I think that is about it for me this evening. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Is painting grass easy? Thank you. Is painting grass easy? I can show you how I do it, and I think that method is very easy, but it took me a really long time to find a method that I liked because it tends to get really swampy. Lindsay, can you fill out a request form for painting grass, and I would be happy to do it. Because it's the sort of thing that I feel like I can explain it, but I think showing you is going to make it make a lot more sense and make it easier to understand than me just talking at you. So thank you. Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully I see you on Thursday at 8. And I have a fun surprise thing that I'm going to be doing on Thursday. So I hope you guys look forward to it. And if you aren't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Please subscribe and click the bell notification so you don't ever have to miss a stream. It'll let you know when I'm streaming. Well, thank you guys for watching. So I will see you guys again on Thursday. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Do plenty of drawing. Send me your drawings, and everyone go admire Gordon Ramsay and Guy Fieri the raccoon, which is the most apt persona I've ever seen. Bye, guys.